Hey everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Tickets, Stubs, and Popcorn. We're going to take an actor. We're going to talk about our top 3 roles of theirs. So today we're going to do Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, great. I got a question for you.
Question for me.
Okay.
Hey, like and subscribe. Go ahead.
Yeah. Pick a movie meal. A meal that you've seen in a movie that you would have liked to have participated in.
Okay.
Not as the first course.
Oh, so as a diner.
As a diner. Somebody who's going to enjoy the meal.
Okay, good. I've got way too much gristle. So, all right, cool. All right, no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. Yeah, man, what do you got?
Wonderful. Okay. Nicole
How'd you get your picture on your shirt?
I know, and I just walk around with caricatures of myself all the time.
That's great. I loved your work on the Pringles can.
I just wish that my head weren't quite as round as this.
Right.
You know, it's the way it goes.
It's just the way I'm drawn.
That's right.
Go ahead. Nicole Kidman.
Thanks. Very good, Frank.
I'm very funny.
Okay. Nicole Kidman. Wonderful actress. We don't. Sometimes you can go a little bit without seeing her and things, you know. American born but Australian, raised in Australia. So when we see her perform, she has to adopt an accent.
Does an accent,
right? So so if she sounds American, that's an accent, or if she sounds British, that's an accent.
Acting,
you got it. So. Nicole Kidman, my first pick will be The Hours.
Okay.
Which is a story, I mentioned it before with Meryl Streep. Yeah, I mentioned it before with Meryl. I mentioned the movie before with Meryl Streep. And it's, the movies, follows 3 different women, 3 different time periods. And there is like a common thread, and the common thread is Virginia Woolf and writing and the themes of some of Virginia Woolf's work. And in this movie, Nicole Kidman actually plays Virginia Woolf.
Big story with that role, I remember, was the nose prosthetic.
Was the prosthetic
That
nose.
was like the big thing. She's like, oh, we're going to do this great movie with fantastic actors, and this is going to be great. Yeah. So tell us about the nose.
Tell us about that
nose. Looked like you had a weird nose.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Like, why?
Right?
So she plays Virginia Woolf, and at this point in Virginia Woolf's life and her career, it's she's already tried a couple times to kill herself. So because of that, she's always under doctor's orders.
Yeah.
Her husband loves her, but is really just trying to protect her. They move out of London. They move out to the country, try to slow things down. And she feels, if she can just immerse herself with her writing, maybe she can get a little bit of her sanity and control back in her life. And the problem is that she's a very intelligent woman, so she knows that she's almost like not held against her will, but kept in this house and overprotected, and she's lost her freedom. And there's a staff in the house, there's like a maid and a cook, and it just, there's too many eyes on her. She just wants to try to live life, and
she looks so on edge all the time in the movie. She really does just embody that.
So there's a lot going on, and she, it all at different times comes out as wonderful emotion, and this dark, scenes and moments, and it's not like she ever snaps out of her funk.
Yeah, no.
I'm suddenly happy. This is great. Oh, look at this. I'm in a good mood today.
That's not what one thinks of when they're thinking about Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, it's not
snapping
really
into happiness.
Yeah, it's not what the case is. And it's interesting, and because there's 3 movies going on in it, she's really in just a third of the movie because you can only follow obviously one at a time. But she's in that one story, the Virginia Woolf story. So that one's set a little in the 20s and a little later. But she's in, like, almost all those scenes. She's an integral part in every scene, very committed, and a lot of it is this look, this look of desperation, sometimes sadness, weariness, heaviness.
Yeah.
And it gets portrayed very well.
Yeah.
The way she's smoking almost all the time, so the cigarette, the hand, just a cigarette, and just it's powerful, and it's dark. It's heavy. It's not like we're supposed to be, skipping to and from the movie theater after this one or before. It is what it is, but it's a great performance, great movie, very good movie, and some wonderful performances, and hers was right up there. So I really enjoyed that one. The other one, this is another heavy one, Rabbit Hole, and that one, it's maybe 10 years by now, and in this one, it's a situation where she is the mother of a young, say 4-year-old who has been killed. He died. He ran out into the street and he got hit by a car. And so that takes place 8 months before the movie takes place. And, I sit and I think, and I say, thank God that's never happened in my life, and I hope it never will happen in your life. But you think 8 months isn't that long of a time period.
Not really.
And her way of trying to deal with it, it's different than her husband's, it's different than her mother's, it's different from a lot of her friends. She gets to the point where she would just love to freeze everybody out.
Yeah.
Kind of. She would even love to get the little, artwork that her boy did, get it off the refrigerator, move away some of the, so we get some photos, we get some, toys, let's move that out of the way so I never have to see it again. She's very argumentative with a lot of people. She's pushing them away. There's a support group that she's not really on board with. Just doesn't like that scene.
Yeah.
And she and her husband aren't moving forward together.
Who plays the husband? I don't know this.
I've already forgotten. Aaron Eckhart, thank you. Yeah. And wonderful performances on everybody. She's particularly good. Like I said, she freezes people out. Diane Wiest is in it, and she's very good in this movie. She's the mother.
Yeah.
And she's also lost a child earlier. Not young like Nicole Kidman's child was. But so they, so she keeps bringing up her son, and that just upsets Nicole Kidman more, because then there's a natural comparison, and in her mind there is no comparison between her brother, who was a drug addict, and then her son, who was just this innocent boy who, you know, followed the dog out into the street, you know, chased the dog, try to catch him, and you see her slowly come around, because she's finally able to find forgiveness and maybe a little bit of communication when she starts to meet and become friends with the boy who was driving the car, who had no chance not to hit the boy. It's the way, you know, it just happened.
Yeah.
And that's Miles Teller. And so, you know, when she's able to like talk to him, starts to come around a little bit. And so, you know, we have hope at the end of the movie. But that one's, that's another, you're just like, ooh, it's heavy, it's dark, but there's it's a wonderful performance by Nicole Kidman. It's really is, it's a great performance. And my third choice is completely different from those two. It's an early one, Dead Calm, where she and what's the other, Sam Neill, are on a boat out, and that made me think of what we asked the question once before about setting, and not enough on a boat, and that came to mind. So that's another one that starts off with, I think they've lost a child somehow, and so she and her husband are gonna spend time on the boat.
So basically, don't let Nicole Kidman babysit.
Yeah, she's terrible with children. It's awful.
This is going to play very strangely into the meal I want to be a part of.
Okay, I'm excited about this one. I've got one, and I'm thinking, oh, please don't say this one. Anyway, so in Dead Calm, she and her husband are on a small schooner, boat, yacht. I don't know what the difference is. And they're trying to rebuild, go on with their life, because they just lost a child, or I don't know how much earlier. So they're on the boat. She's young in this one. And then, of course, because this seems to happen all the time, you just stop and you pick some weird psycho up off the ocean there.
Yeah, like you do.
Like you do. So Billy Zane is this guy who appears normal at first. And
much like Billy Zane in real life.
Yeah. Who knows? And so he's able to get the husband off of their boat and trapped on the boat that he came from. And then he's terrorizing, hunting, chasing Nicole Kidman down.
So she's just damsel in distress.
No, but she's fighting back, and there's fight scenes in there and stuff. So it's got a crazy the ending. The ending is just a little crazy, but it's an interesting performance, because it's different.
Yeah.
She's like being terrorized, and she's fighting back, and she's being chased. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a prisoner, but then some. She's not. She's on top. You know what I mean? It's a nice little. It's a change, but at that point, it's so early in her career, you wouldn't have known that it is a change. Later on, in retrospect, you go, oh yeah, that's something different for her, and so that's what I got. Those are my three.
All right. Interesting. All very depressing movies.
Yeah, Jesus. They're all a little different there.
Like and subscribe, folks. Please check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
What do you got? What do you?
My Nicole Kidman. So Nicole Kidman does, again, like you said, she's got a very serious rep. I think. I think that when you think about her, you defer to like the drama stuff she's been doing on TV lately, like on HBO. You think about The Hours. You think about some of that more serious stuff. I mean, Moulin Rouge was kind of fun, but it's a musical, and I can't stand musicals, so that doesn't really count. But I think
that was in consideration of my list.
I enjoy the lighter, more fun Nicole Kidman movies, and to which one might ask, what?
I think I can get one.
So, one of them is, again, no particular order, Bewitched. Bewitched.
That was the one I was thinking
was a great little sort of, the movie version of the TV show, but it was kind of weird what they did with that whole thing. And then Will Ferrell is, comes into it. But she's fun and light, and she's just like, oh my God, she is so much like Samantha from the show, and that is great. And she's very playful, and she plays it very light, and it's just a nice, like you said, you don't know it's a nice change until you see all of her dramatic work later.
Serious.
There's a lot of actors now. You see them doing a lot on TV, and there's a lot more dramatic stuff. Reese Witherspoon, who I would not really ever consider much of a dramatic actor. I like her funnier stuff, like in Election, she's great. But Nicole Kidman, same thing, more serious. Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, there's like all the serious stuff that she did, and I think that it gets forgotten that she has these handful of really kind of just fun little comedies.
Yeah, she seems capable because she's done it.
And Bewitched is one of them. Another one is Stepford Wives.
That was another one I was thinking of.
It's so weird. It's so perfectly done. She's very physical in this. She's very silly in this, and she gets to play with like Bette Midler and John Lovitz and Matthew Broderick and Glenn Close, Christopher Walken. When I rewatched this movie the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, Christopher Walken is in this. I'd totally forgotten about that. And it's just fantastic. And she's funny, and it's a funny movie, and it's a creepy ass movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of these just like, to see her on HBO as this serious, woman, and she's engaged in all sorts of, there's stuff going on. And then you see her in this, it's just like, oh my God, how is that the same woman? So that one I really, really like. And then there's another comedy, but it's more of a dark comedy. And because, it's based on real events, sort of, kind of.
So they say.
To Die For.
Oh, okay.
Which, she plays the reporter who coerces some kids to kill her husband.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix is one of the dumb kids who helps kill her husband. And it's really, she plays it very like positive, and she's gonna be an on-air anchor.
She's gonna make it big,
teaching media stuff at a high school, but she's gonna make it big, and she's got that drive. And if only she got that one big break.
What's holding her back?
And what's holding her back? Well, apparently, not killing her husband was holding her back because she got the media attention that she wanted, and she's gonna play this to her advantage, and she's so manipulative.
Yeah.
And it's a funny movie. It's like ha ha. Because then you're laughing, and you're like,
am I supposed to still be laughing?
She's crazy. Yeah. It's like a slightly more serious version of Serial Mom with Kathleen Turner. Oh, yeah. That's another one which is just like, that's so funny. She's killed 3 people already.
Yeah.
So, but to see Nicole Kidman play that. This is really, and To Die For is really fun because she does, she can turn on a dime from being super sweet and everything to just being like really, really mean and controlling, and it scares the shit out of these kids. And it's just fantastic, and I love those are some of my favorite Nicole Kidman roles. She's very she's great when there's a serious role. I was also considering the Beguiled, I think it was, which was such a weird, and I think that she was
different one.
Wrong for that movie. And that movie, I don't really know what it wanted to be, because it sort of bills itself as kind of a thriller, but it's not really thrilling. It's not a mystery. I spent 3/4 of that movie going, everything seems fine.
Are we done here?
like what's the problem? But she plays this very, very serious kind of like leader of this school in the Civil War, but she's too I think that she's too young for it. Like she's the wrong person in that role. She's more hard ass than she needs. Then I think that she should be playing at that point, because she and Kirsten Dunst, they're somewhat. I don't know what the age difference is between the two, but there's not enough in this for Nicole Kidman to have that more superior role kind of thing. So it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to have a vibe almost like in Doubt with Meryl Streep and Amy Adams. They're kind of like that.
Yeah.
But in this movie, The Beguiled, they're a little bit more even. And I don't know. It was just a weird movie that just didn't work for me. I thought, hey, I'll see something new. And it's not one of my favorites of hers. So, but those are my
good.
My
so let
three,
me recap.
If you can, because I always sprinkle in.
I know you're all over the place today.
I'm a tricky one.
You had To Die For.
I did.
The Stepford Wives and Bewitched.
I did. And you had The Hours.
The Hours. Yeah.
And you had Dead Calm.
Yeah.
And I can never remember the third one. Give me a hint.
Well, don't go down this.
Oh, Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you got a baseball for a head.
You got it.
Yes. I don't know. So, hey, folks, like and subscribe, please.
Do.
And all the Instagram stuff. Hey, meal. That's what we're talking about, right? Meal you'd want to be part of.
Righto.
Right? So, do you want to hear mine? Or do you want to throw yours out first? Because I'm excited to talk about this.
I'll let you go first then.
All right.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind is that meal in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
So to be... I know, right?
I wasn't going there.
That's the first one that comes to me. Because you figure, and it's the one where they're on Cloud City and the doors open.
Yes.
And Han Solo just, draws his weapon.
You got it.
And Vader just takes the weapon.
Yep.
Can you imagine you get invited to this meal and you're just you're sitting there at the table. You're just sitting there at the table. You're just a dude. Right? You're just a dude, and you're just sitting there at the table, and it's just like, all right, this Vader guy, he's pretty scary. I'm just sitting at the table, and we're waiting for some other people to show up, and I'm like some potentate here on Cloud City. They've invited me to this meal.
I'm just the brother-in-law. I don't know.
Right?
I'm here.
And he's just like, the door opens, it's just like, oh, good thing. What the hell is happening? Whoa! I would be freaking out.
What is the violence?
I mean, really, he's nice enough to invite him. So, but that's just funny crap that enters my head. So, but actually, a meal that
we're not going to be eating, together for a while.
So we still going to eat. You're going to take him off.
Do we have lunch?
Can I get something to go? I skipped lunch for this. So I guess the other one that I would really want to be a part of, Big Night, with that big, extravagant Italian meal, because it just, watching that movie.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub and Stanley Tucci. yeah, just watching that movie made me hungry. I'll never forget it. I was on a date and we're just like, oh yeah, we'll just grab some food afterwards. And I'm watching. I'm like, can we leave? Like this was so
I want to eat right now.
In that, oh my god, the food in the Italian food in that. So yeah, that's a meal I would really love to be a part of because it just looks so good. Reminds me of eating at my grandmother's house when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, so good.
It brings you back.
No, it totally does.
When you ask the question, I have no idea why, but in my mind, before I can start thinking of the meals that I want from a movie, I honestly started to think of movies that I do not want from movies. I have no idea,
Fried
but
green tomatoes.
so like in my mind, I'm going, and it's funny how a lot were like kind of flooding my mind all of a sudden, like food related stuff, and I can see Monty Python and the Meaning of Life, and all of that scene with Mr. Creosote where it's just this projectile vomiting this morbidly obese guy. And all I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that meal. I don't even want to be in that restaurant when all that's going on with the buckets and just people slipping. Oh, I'm like, okay, so I didn't want that one.
Fair.
So that one came in my head. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't know if it's a meal, but if you think of it as breakfast, because it happens early in this person's morning routine. And I'm like, I don't want all those raw egg yolks that Sylvester Stallone is doing in Rocky. And
so
I'm
you
like,
don't want Rocky's
oh
breakfast.
my God, I don't want that one either.
So what do you
And
want?
then, wait a minute.
Oh my
and then I started thinking, maybe I'm misinterpreting this scene, but isn't there like a weird scene related to food in Pan's Labyrinth? Where is somebody like eating a child or something?
That movie freaked me out.
Oh yeah!
I don't know what the hell happened in that movie.
So that one's
That
like
movie
he's
was a
eating something, and it's like, okay,
dream. I
don't want that one either. I don't want that at all. So then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Try to think of something good instead
positive.
of bad.
Yeah.
And there is, it's the major part of the entire movie, but Babette's Feast.
Oh, yeah.
And this loving care and preparation for this feast.
Yeah.
And she's cooking stuff that I'm not even interested in eating. And just the preparation and the love and the attention. It's like, oh my God. And then there's the general or whoever he is, a field marshal. There's a man in uniform, and he's just talking about his experiences because they're in Denmark or whatever they are. But Babette was earlier a chef in a French restaurant in Paris. So there's this, and so he keeps talking about, this Parisian place, and he's describing the food, and he's eating it, and so psycho. And everybody else is just like eating, but they're watching him and listening, and it's like,
all right, that's cool.
So that's what I got. But it's funny. The first thing I was thinking of was stuff I've seen in movies. I don't want to eat this. Don't want to eat that either. Oh, I want nothing to do with that meal.
Ooh. Yeah, the Rocky's breakfast thing. No thanks. So, all right, that was good. Hey, who are we going to talk about next time?
I don't know. Let's just keep it a secret.
Okay. Why don't you pick this then?
All right. As if I'm going to have better luck than...
You won't.
No, I'm not. All righty. Admit one. All righty. Yes.
Right.
Do I need to share
I
this
would
with
like
you?
to know
Okay.
what I'm supposed to know.
Okay. Knock yourself out.
All right. Okay, that's cool. All right, cool. Great. All right, folks. Thanks for watching another episode of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's good
Please.
stuff to do. Bye-bye.
Take care.